Hi guys. Today we're going to go over mask wearing in the school. This is all a part of my mask, hygiene, and social distancing little mini webinars. So today we're going to go over wearing a mask. I know that it definitely sounds overwhelming. It felt overwhelming to me when, we were told as adults to wear a mask. It was something that I definitely had to get used to, and the same thing goes for our learners as well. So today we're going to just talk about wearing a mask and some different strategies that we can utilize. So again, wearing a mask, I know, I'm sure you're thinking, I'm crazy, my kid is never gonna wear a mask, or there's just no way. I get it. I totally understand where you're coming from, where your mindset is. Um, but it is possible. And, we have to have that mindset that things are possible with our students, with our learners, for kids, for adults, everywhere. We need to always presume that confidence. So, first off, the first thing that I ask of you to do is if your child is giving you a hard time of wearing a mask, find out the reason why. Is it because of the sensory component? Is it because that child's hungry at that moment that they're wearing their mask and they just don't want to wear it because they want to eat? We have to figure out what's the reasoning behind why. Is it uncomfortable? Again, is that kid hungry? Do they want to drink? Are they hot? So it's really important to figure that out. And what's amazing is that there are so many different options for different types of masks that you can wear, contingent on the need of your learner. So once you figure that out, I want you to pick a time of day or pick an activity that you want to see your child wear their mask for. A great way to start is, if you want your child to wear a mask while they're watching TV, okay? So let's just say we want to eventually get to a full 30 minutes, okay? So that's our end goal. But you can't just expect your child to wear a mask for the 30 minutes without any training at all. If that's the case and they do, that's awesome. You already nailed it. But most likely that won't be the case. So I really want you to start small. 30 seconds or a minute of wearing the mask, and then you want to increase the amount of time that your child wears that mask, contingent on their progress and contingent on their need and what your goal is. Remember, we want to provide reinforcement for this behavior. I'm not saying feed your kids marshmallows or chocolate chips, whatever reinforcement you think will work. If your child responds to praise, provide the praise. If your child responds to, their favorite iPad activity or an artwork activity or even just a walk outside, give them some means of reinforcement because we want to acknowledge that them wearing the mask is doing something positive. And also, lastly, you want to make it fun. Have your child pick out their own mask. There are tons of different options. I know Etsy has a whole slew of different character masks and colors, as well as Disney has a lot of different options as well. And I'm sure Nickelodeon does. So there are totally tons of options out there for your child to choose from. I know that me personally, I have to wear something that has color in it. So originally my husband had given me like a really serious mask that was just, I don't know, it was so uncomfortable for me. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wear this. And then I found, I looked on Etsy and I found a couple that I really liked, a couple of cool designs. So honestly, it's really not that bad anymore. And it's kind of comfortable. So that just goes to show you that us as adults, we all function the same type of way. Kids are going to respond the same exact way as we do. So remember that. So think about, whenever you're thinking about wearing a mask, you can think, oh, Sarah, the behaviorist, also had to do strategies on herself. So it's possible. And like I said, tons of different options. So you want to make it fun. You want to shape the behavior you want to see. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. And also you want to understand why your child is giving you a hard time if they are. So again, I attach links onto this presentation of, sensory-friendly masks. I know that they have ones for the ears because from all the research and feedback I've been reading, the ears are very sensitive. So there's different types of protective gear for the ears when they're wearing their mask, as well as different fabrics that are going to be more appealing to our sensory, friends. And then, like I said, there's character design. So there's a whole ton of options to choose from. And remember, have your child pick. You want to make this fun for your child. You want to make this preferred for your child. So your child's input is going to be key in this component. Okay, so social stories. I know that you saw a previous handout that I've given out about, different links regarding social stories. I personally like social stories, and I think they're the most feasible to implement in the home setting, especially when you don't have all of this behavior training. All you have to do is click the YouTube link, have your child watch the video a couple times a week, talk about it, point to the pictures of the kids wearing the mask and saying, we're going to wear a mask, and, holding up the mask to pair with the story. I like this option again because it's easy. It's easy for you guys to implement. You don't have to be BCBAs to play the social story and talk about it. This can be easily used in the nighttime routine or just a part of your day. Include it in your schedule if you have one. Even ask your teacher to review it or provide you some personalized social stories. I know in the past I've, added the child's picture to a social story to make it more personal. So, use these because this is a great way to desensitize our learners to wearing a mask. It provides that exposure and it provides that reason as to why we have to wear one. And it also, with the visual supports in the social story, it's also easier to comprehend. So here I have a layout of steps to wear a mask. It's going to be different for every learner. Again, these are very general strategies. So I want you to look at the different strategies I'm going to talk about today, and you pick the one that you are most comfortable with, that you feel is going to be the most successful in your home environment. So this is the basic steps to wear a mask. Day 1-3, you're going to have your child pick out their mask. You're going to read those social stories. You're going to have it present during preferred activities. You're going to desensitize your child. They can even put the mask on their stuffed animal. Just have it around. During playtime, have it next to the child so the child can see it. Have the child see you wear a mask. So that also provides that exposure. So day 1-3, we want to introduce the concept. Then day 3, we're going to first provide our choice to their child. What mask do you want to wear? And then we're going to provide the praise for the child wearing a mask. And then we're going to start slow. So like I said, you're going to want to select one activity in your day. So let's use that TV time for 30 minutes. So, or iPad time for 45 minutes. But you want to start small. So you're going to have your child put on that mask for 30 seconds to a minute. And you're going to set the timer. And when the timer goes off, the child's going to take off the mask and you're going to provide that praise. Praise or reinforcement, both combined together. And then you're going to add the amount of time contingent on their progress. So let's just say Johnny wears his mask for a minute, 3 days in a row. You're going to want to bump it up to maybe 3 or 5 minutes. And then again, you're going to want to provide that praise after Johnny wears his mask, complies, pair it with positive language. I love how you're wearing your mask. All right, you wore your mask, now you get iPad. And you can also use that first then language. First mask, then iPad. And always provide that reinforcement after. Okay? So when the child presents mastery of that 45-minute block or a half-hour block, you're going to want to increase it in other aspects of the child's day. Remember, do not forget reinforcement. This is so important to increase that behavior. We want to praise our learners for doing positive work. This is not easy, especially for our sensory friends. who are going to find, it difficult to wear a mask. But we're going to want to provide that praise constantly, and verbal specific praise. I love how you're wearing your mask. You want the learner to know why exactly you're praising him or her. So here's just a visual of, the child picking their mask, beginning with small increments and then increasing the time. Again, put mask on face, and then you increase the amount of time that the learner wears the mask. If you're having trouble from the get-go, you may need to take it slow. So, you may need to rub the mask up against the child's face. Then hold the mask up to the child's face with one loop in. And then the next day, another loop in. But in between these steps, you're gonna wanna provide that reinforcement. So again, for our learners who may need to take it super slow, that is fine. This is a great way to desensitize our learners, take it slow, and help increase the likelihood that they're going to wear their mask as they become more comfortable. Another option also is to use video modeling. This is similar to social stories in the aspect of it's easy to implement because all you're really going to do is find a YouTube video of another child wearing a mask. You're going to also want to find someone who's similar to your child. I recommend, around the same age or gender. And you're going to want to make sure it's a positive video. If the child is wearing a mask and crying, that might not be the best model for the child to see. But you're going to want to see a child who's compliant, who's wearing the mask, who's receiving praise. And then you're going to want to just play it. And maybe while you're playing it on YouTube, have the child hold their mask and see what they do. See if they put it on spontaneously. Provide praise for doing so. Even if they're just holding it in their hand, provide that praise. We want to make sure that we're praising all aspects of this mask because we want to make it as positive as possible. Okay, so we have video modeling. We have that gradual increase of the increments of time. You can also use distractors. So maybe during a preferred activity, you just have the child wear the mask. And if the child takes off their mask, you're going to want to pause that activity. I would say the easiest thing to do is maybe during, playtime or iPad time. If the child's playing with trains, you want to put the mask on. If the child takes it off, you're going to want to remove the trains. Once the child puts that mask back on, you can continue through with that designated activity. And again, you're going to want to provide praise to your child for wearing their mask. So you have lots of different options here. You have using distractors. You have increasing the increments. You have video modeling, social stories. There's tons of different avenues to go to. You're going to want to select the one that you feel that you're going to be most successful with. We want to be consistent in what we do. So I want you to really think about what's the most feasible in your home environment and choose that strategy. So last tips. I always recommend to add, to end, the mask wearing protocols on a good note. So even if that child is wearing it for 1 second, that's okay. That's how you want to end it. You don't want to end it with the child in tears and flipping out. You want to end it on a positive note because we want to make sure, again, that this is paired with a positive experience and that we're building that momentum. Another really important task to teach is you want your learner to learn the functional communication skills necessary to request for their mask off or to express that it hurts. This is so important. We want our students to advocate for themselves. A lot of times our students are pleasers because they're receiving that reinforcement, but we also want them to be able to advocate for themselves. Teach them to request mask off or it hurts, I'm hot, things of that sort. And that's really easy to do. All you're going to do is model that language to facilitate the student to utilize that functional communication to express their wants and needs. And again, always try to add increments to when your child is meeting with success. If Johnny is doing great for the minutes, 3 days in a row, bump it up, increase that time frame, challenge your learner. And again, always provide praise to your child for wearing their mask. If you have any questions at all or need support, please feel free to reach out to me, your teacher, case manager. We are here to help you. If you need that individualized social story, we can also provide that. We're all here to collaborate and help your child succeed, especially, with these times and, with something as difficult as wearing a mask. But we got this, and it can be done. And I hope that you choose, a strategy and utilize it. And I think, with teamwork, we're going to make this year a very successful one. Thanks again.